Welcome back to ARE Week 2, Day 4. Um, so far, it's been exciting to see everybody getting into the projects, or at least most of you. Ms. Rice will talk about this in a minute, but we've gone through about half of the lab notebook so far. And we looked through the being bored activity, and just we're commenting that it's so interesting how a lot of people started with, I don't spend a lot of time being bored, which was interesting that so many people started with almost some version of that same sentence. But then also some people even wrote that being bored caused extra stress and panic for some of us, that almost like our brains are rewiring to kind of reject that. Um, when science is telling us, oh, this is what leads to creativity and it can lead to all these other beneficial things, like fear and stress and panic are not among them. So it was kind of interesting to read through. So thank you to those of you who did that and did it well. And actually, it seems like a lot of you actually put in the time to give it a shot, and I really appreciate that. So we both really appreciate that. And I just think it's something good for you. I've been trying to spend a little bit of time doing stuff like that too lately. Um, and for those of you who are missing it, you are missing out, but you're also missing out on some points. So make sure you're keeping up with the daily activities and things like that. So I wanted to talk about the thing that is due today, which is the work plan. Okay, now don't just fill out your work plan and be done. That's not like the only thing. This is just part of the work day. This is just something that's due. From here on out, each day is a day to work on the project. So please spend your time working on the project, and it should be roughly 60 minutes or more 2 days a week, and it should be on Monday and Wednesday. It doesn't necessarily need to be during our class window, but it should be on those days because we want to look in and see dates for those in your lab notebook, and we can actually look back in at the editing history and see when you've been adding those. So adding them on the day that you're doing them it's a valid scientific technique as well. So the work plan is part of the work day today, but it's not the only thing today. Don't just fill this out or, oh, I got that done already, I'm off the hook for the rest of the week. No, it's another work day. But I just wanted to show you a little example. I wanted to pull this up just to give you some ideas of how to work on this. So this is for option 3, self-engineering. Obviously, there's 2 different types of projects. There's 2 different types of work plans. So sorry, I keep getting distracted by my hand moving on to the side here. But anyways, what you'll do is you can come up to File and you can make your own copy, because I believe we have just shared with you to view this, but you can make a copy, or you can just copy right out of here and paste it into your lab notebook. Either way, if you just create a copy of this document, make sure to share that with us. If you make a copy of this document, share it with us. And if you paste in your lab notebook, maybe just shoot us an email letting us know, just so we can find those quickly, because we'd like to look through those this weekend and just make sure you're on the right track, see if there's anything we can do to help you. So skill to be learned. For me, I'm actually doing this too. My skill is going to be to walk 25 feet in a handstand. Okay, and as I kind of go through the bullet points here, you'll kind of know why I've chosen this over my quarantine. So my skill to learn is walking a handstand. Then this part where it says milestone, this will be the milestone. How will I know I've accomplished what I want to accomplish? I'll be able to walk 25 feet. So I have a tangible number that I want to do. It's not just like be able to hold a handstand, because I can do that now for 15 seconds, or not 15. I can hold one now for I did it this morning for about 2 seconds. So I did a 2-second handstand, but I can't walk across a room. So this would let me know that it's completed. Then what are some of my smaller skills to work on? Well, one is back strength. I've been having trouble with kind of having back pain and a weak back, and I figured doing a handstand would be a good way for me to practice strengthening my back. So that's one of the skills I'm going to put in. Another thing is flexibility. So I did a little yoga with my kids this morning. That's one of my skills to work on my flexibility. I'm also going to plan on working on strength. So being strong enough to stay up on my hands, and then the other skill I'll just kind of practice is being upside down. So I feel like those are 4 things I'll need to be able to hold this thing, maybe even a 5th skill of balance. Why did I choose this? It's a good way to get my body kind of back in shape, things like that, stretching and things that are just have been proven in this quarantine time to be so helpful for your health. Just to be doing these kind of flexibility and exercise kind of things. Materials needed. I will probably need an iPad to. I've got a couple. I've already found some sites that have some good stretches. Amazon Prime has some yoga. I was doing kid yoga today. Cosmic Kids Yoga is fantastic. um, and just so I really don't need much stuff, but this is where you'll list everything you need, even if you have it already at your house, still listed in here. And then as far as work plan, so what I would put in here is like, what do I want to have accomplished by this? By the end of this week, I'd like to have kind of printed out kind of a back strengthening exercise sheet and a kind of pick out a few different kind of stretching and flexibility exercises. So I would put that by the end of this week, I want to have those selected. I want to have it kind of printed out, and so that I can start over the weekend doing these daily tasks that I need to do to get to this final goal. By week 2, I want to start with just flexibility, but then week 2, I'm going to add in the strength component. And I want to like kind of build up to this. I don't want to just start hurting myself trying to just walk on my hands. So I'm going to kind of build up to it. By week 3, I hope to be stretched and kind of in a good enough shape to start doing some handstands as part of my workout. But I really like against the wall, things like that. By week 4, I'd like to be able to maybe walk out away from the wall. So these are just kind of my milestones for that week. Just kind of setting goals, breaking the big project into some smaller pieces so that it doesn't seem so overwhelming. And we just kind of want to work through that with you. So get a good start on it, but then move on. And then, week 4, maybe I'd like to be able to walk 5 to 10 feet. And then hopefully by this, maybe week 5 and 6, to be actually able to do it. And then I can start using the last 2 weeks to put together the project, to edit the video footage that I'll be taking and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of an example from what I'm going to be doing. And so that's the work plan. Again, Miss Rice and I will be on for the last 15 minutes of class in the Google chat. So please, please, please sign in. And if you have any questions about that. So sorry that took so long. I'm going to pass the mic over to Miss Rice, if I can remember how to do that. There we go. All right, you are on. Go for it.
Cool. So I'm just going to talk really quickly about your lab notebooks. A couple of things that we've noticed already. Mr. Swanson did mention we have graded right now about half of them, and we're hoping to the other half today. So hopefully by the end of today, you might get some comments. We are leaving them. Look for those. There's just a couple of things we want to address right now. First, make sure anything that you do for this project is in your Google Doc, your online lab notebook, because that's what we are looking at, and that's all we see. Some of you look like you're putting links in, or you like say that you're doing something, but then we don't know what that is. So make sure that if you do work anywhere else, it's just posted in there. Or if you have a link, you write down bullet points of like what was important from that, why you think it's a good resource. Second thing, like our real lab notebooks that we had in class, make sure you have a date and a title for each entry. And don't just have the title be like day 1, day 2, day 3, because that's not super helpful. So something that would be better is like brainstorming for my final topic, picking between a skill or something else. Or if you're doing handstands, like working on back strength today or something like that, that will be really useful if you look back to see maybe if you want to look at your notes, or for Mr. Swanson and I to get a really good idea of what you are working on. So please have good titles. The next thing is this is something that you should be able to look at in like 20 years, all right? When you're an adult, you look back at this project and you're like, oh my goodness, I remember all these things. And if you only had that document, that lab notebook, you could completely recreate it. You could completely learn this new skill or whatever your project is from this one document. So everything needs to be in there. And then lastly, if you look at your grade right now, it might have taken a big toll, or it might have jumped up a bit just from this first grade, because This lab notebook grade is no longer in the lab notebooks, but it's in your final project section, which is a totally different category. We're going to start putting more points in there, but for right now, it is a big chunk of your grade, and there's only 10 points. So please be on top of that. If you have any questions or if you see some comments and it doesn't make sense, let us know. Also, if you're not happy with your score and you want to see a really quality lab entry, we can show you that. That's totally fine. Maybe pop on to the little Google Meet at the end of class or just shoot us an email, and we'd be happy to do that for you. But that's it.
All right. I think, yeah, that's great. So good luck. Happy working, and hope you have a great weekend. Yep, pop on to Google Chat if you have any questions. All right. Have a great